This is a story we continue to follow. The high cost of housing, interest rates, in some cases, the lack of home availability to would-be buyers. And with 30-year mortgages hovering close to 7%, you might be wondering, is there any relief in the future? Well, Scripps News Group's Joe St. George is taking a closer look at some recent changes by the Trump administration and one big change that is expected soon.
Millions of Americans find themselves living in something like this, a rental, an apartment for lease, even though they want to be under contract and actually own a home. So what has Washington been doing lately to try and make that more of a reality?
When we bought our first home, it was like $80,000.
And what are they going for now?
$450,000.
What Vicki Franklin recently told the Scripps News Group in Las Vegas is, in short, the issue confronting millions of Americans. And the country's elected leaders in Washington don't deny it. So what's being done?
Jerome Powell's been very bad for our country. We should have the lowest interest rate on earth.
One area is interest rates, which remains a major hindrance to home buying for many. President Trump has been sharpening his attacks on Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell in recent weeks. He's frustrated that the Fed hasn't cut rates since December. Meanwhile, in Europe, there have been 8 interest rate cuts in the last year. The Fed meets again at the end of the month, and Powell has said that tariff uncertainty is the reason for the pause. While President Trump hasn't attempted to fire Powell, he has openly talked about his term ending in May of next year. A replacement, more in line with President Trump's thinking, is expected to be named by the president in the coming months. Another area of policy change with home buying deals with credit scores. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac announced earlier this month a new policy of taking into account would-be home buyers' past history of paying rent on time.
Housing affordability is an issue in our country right now.
Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Scott Turner is not denying the housing crunch. In an interview with the Scripps News Group recently, he said he is prioritizing cutting regulations that he believes will result in more affordable homes being built.
Taking down regulations is of utmost importance.
Of course, not every policy in Washington has helped with the cost of housing. The National Association of Home Builders has warned how tariffs could raise the price of building a home. But Republicans in Congress believe the newly signed into law One Big Beautiful Bill will help. While the legislation did not include any down payment assistance programs, it did make permanent a deduction on mortgage interest, as well as brought back a deduction for some for private homeowners insurance. The legislation also allows for homeowners to deduct more of their state and local property taxes. Bill Connors is a first-time homebuyer from heavily taxed Southern California.
This bill has made it a lot easier for people to actually be able to afford a house.
Joe St. George, Scripps News Group, Washington.